Hello everyone, just tonight enjoying a nice spring evening and just gone out for a little bit of a run in the just around Horsforth, and I'm in Horsforth Hall Park right now. It's pitch black, so that's why you can't see me, but just want to talk about direction in life and how to get yourself out of a bit of a struggle just by slowly but surely getting yourself out of it. So first off, a big thing is don't try and do too much at once at the start. I know at the start it's usually a spur of motivation that gets you to change, because let's say you get a bit pissed off with where you are and then you're like, okay, I need to do something and change, and then you get an idea and you get excited about the idea, and then you go OTT on the idea, and you try and do a bit too much at once. So the reason I'm going on about this is because this is what I do quite a lot, and I realise if I do this, other people probably do this also. So just in the creation of this channel, I realised, I've made YouTube channels before, and then I go check them out, and I'm like, that was a good idea. I should try and do that again, or I should try and merge them all into one and incorporate that content into this new channel and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, instead of just having one thing to focus on, like a laser beam, you've got a wide full beam headlight kind of thing where you're illuminating loads of stuff and not focusing on the thing that's going to cut through. But just in terms of actually starting, you want to start off building that momentum. You got to get the small tasks done. Just get small tasks done at the start, and then eventually you get more momentum, and you can keep adding tasks per day. So a good tip is, if you are to measure your work done by tasks completed rather than time spent doing something, first of all, it cuts out a lot of dead wasted time, because you don't feel like you need to just sit down and do something for a longer period of time than you need to do at the start. And what that tends to do is it tends to lead to burnout. Like right at the start, when you've got the motivation, you're like, right, I'm going to just do it all tonight. I'm going to do, let's say for this YouTube channel, for example, I've intentionally started off with shit quality. The only thing really productive I've done so far is get this microphone, which I hope is working. But I've not done any thumbnails, which I know how to do because I'm in marketing and design. So for me, that doesn't take 2 seconds, but I'm intentionally not trying to make it feel like a job. I'm trying to make it feel like something fun to do. And, when you get in the habit and you start doing things, it starts bringing motivation, which you can then spend that motivation on actually doing the more laborious type of things, like maybe analytics, or maybe in anything in life, you're going to have a passion that you're going to follow, that there's probably going to be some boring things that you've got to do. Like, it doesn't matter what. Like, I was listening to Magnus Carlsen on the Rogan podcast. It came out the other day, and what he was saying is, he's just got a massive passion for chess, but he actually finds competition less, I don't even know the word, like less fun than just playing chess. So I think, he realizes he's got to do the competitions to get to where he wants to get, of being like the best person, and he's also ultra competitive, but he realizes he has to do that, and then so he can follow his passion of just playing chess, which he finds fun. And it's the same for anything. You've just got to start off doing what you like. Like, for example, in this, I'm just talking about essentially myself right at the start, because I know I want to do something whereby I can talk about passions and stuff, but I haven't really figured it out. And that's also why I kind of went in a bit of a shotgun mode instead of a sniper mode, by trying to, like, seeing the old YouTube channels. Oh, I like that. I like health. Okay. I like trading, like on the stock market. I like, that's why I've done the UFO channel. I like talking about personal development. I like philosophy. There's all these type of things. But I can easily get overwhelmed with all the things I like and try and do it all at once, when actually it's probably just better taking it slow and steady and incorporating them all into this channel. So I think also, if you also suffer from like an ADD or ADHD kind of mentality, where like you have a scattered brain, where you find it hard to focus on things, like I don't know if you can relate to this, but it feels like you want to be doing like 8 different things at the same time, and it feels like you don't have enough time in the day to do everything that you want to do. But you also, that brings with it like a type of paralysis, because it's like, I want to do so many things and I don't know where to start, and it leads to procrastination, which then leads to a sticky feeling that's hard to get out of. Now, if you can relate to that, I'm not sure if you can do or not, but if you can relate to that, the best thing to do is literally narrow it down to like the easiest possible task you can do in just one of those things for today. And then tomorrow, narrow it down again to the easiest possible task you can do for that day. And you see all the people that are like, to be a winner, to be at the top, you need to be working 24 hours a day, no sleep. You got to be reading 10 books a week. If you're not reading 50 books a year, you're not going to be a millionaire, because the average millionaire reads 50 books a year. If you're not thinking 57 and a half steps ahead of where you are now, you're never going to make it in business, because the average businessman is calculating 57 and a half steps ahead. And it's like, all right, whatever. That will come down the line once you've set a structure into your life of habits of doing that thing. So like, if you think you're just gonna go from 0 to 100, if you're starting off from a standing start, Jesus Christ, that's scare number 1 of the day. On this busy road, they always go past. But if you're like, let's say for example, you're wanting to become an athlete. Okay, how do you become an athlete? Do you just go straight to training 10 sessions a week, having a strict diet plan, getting the best gear? Well, I mean, you could do that. Are you going to perform very well? No. Is it going to stick? No. Why is that? Because it's not ingrained into your psyche yet. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done a sport as a kid, but if you had done a sport as a kid, you'd know that it takes a long time of being shit to then all of a sudden be good. And then that being good at it then sparks the passion to then do the things like plan 57 and a half moves ahead or read 50 books a second, you know, all the like funny tropes of you know, a CEO or a person who's smashing it in today's life. You've got to start with the small things. So for example, right now, like a bit of an insight into my own personality, I'm a pretty much introverted person. So I'm like one of those weird personalities where I'm an extroverted introvert. So like if you saw me around people, you would think that I'm an extrovert, but I'm really not. Like it really takes a lot out of me. So a lot of people think I'm a little bit cold to them, but it's not. It's just because I'm probably nervous or shy or just like need a bit of time on my own to like recharge. So when it comes to doing this, like I find it a bit difficult to do it if I know that there's people that can hear me. Hence why I go out the house, try and go to a quiet place, and it's not easy, but I do trust in the process. And I've seen other people who clearly have the same anxieties at the start, and I've seen them over time, and by like year 3 or 4 you would think that they're like professional personalities, you know. Like an inspiration of mine is a guy, a bit of a niche sporting personality or channel, is Connor McGilligan of the One Leeds fan channel. Like, you know, you follow him from the start and then you see how he's like changed and stuff, and you're like, bloody hell, it's quite inspiring. And then you know, like just from recording a few simple videos the other day, like I've done only about 5 or 6 now, but it has made me more interested. The first one was just, fuck, I'm in a bit of a rut, I need to just do something. And then I just did something, and I recorded one, I uploaded it, and just kept doing it. And now I'm like, okay, what do I need to do for my thumbnail? Let's have a think about that, but not go too hard in the paint just yet. Keep it fun, keep it fun. And I've also looked into a few people who are also inspiring. Like there's a guy who started a channel like 4 months ago, and he just did a video about essentially the benefits of getting yourself on YouTube. And one of them was, you know, he actually found that he got more time to spend pursuing his passion, which is like essentially being a carpenter and like making things out of wood. And he found that because he had like a target of one video a week, it forced him to do the thing that he liked doing more. And so if you're wanting to do something, it doesn't have to be this, but essentially just do something you want to do and start off small, and you know, it'll come eventually, won't it? It will come. So yeah, I mean, just gonna get back in off this busy road, going into the dark again. But yeah, I don't know whether I'm just talking to myself here, just go along with the flow. It's pretty fun. But one thing I need to kind of get back into again is reading, because I do think that reading really helps get your brain into the mode of that weird state where things just happen and you're just doing things. But it also depends on what book you're reading as well. The books that I found really inspiring recently, is Napoleon Hill. I've pretty much read his main books recently, and Think and Grow Rich, I'm still halfway through, and I'm actually listening to that on audio because the book is so big. I find it a bit intimidating to read. But one, a book, you know the book Outwitting a Devil. Okay, I gave that a read because I was looking at Patrick Bet-David's book list, and I think that was on there, or another one was on there. But I was like, that's a cool title. I like Napoleon Hill as well because I've read another one of his books before as well, like The Laws of Success. And I was reading Outwitting the Devil, and at the start I was like, this is a fucking pile of crap. He was talking about speaking. He was literally imagining things called what was it called, like conscious molecules or something like that he was communicating with, and he was like imagining he was speaking to like Roosevelt and these presidents before him and these great people before him. And I was thinking at the start, it caught me by surprise. I was like, what the hell is this guy on about? I don't know if I can get behind this. But then he was talking a lot about his the second self that you have, and which is essentially the higher self and the guidance that you can get from your higher self or your other self. And it's probably one of the most profound things that, you read a book now and again and it just changes your perspective on things. That's one of them. The first book to do that to me was Rollo Tomassi, and just essentially all of his books, like The Rational Male. It changed my life as a 21-year-old kid. And the next book to do that is essentially Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and it just gives you this almost extra ability in your life. One thing you gotta realize is he's probably not talking to these. He's not literally talking to Roosevelt. He's not literally talking to presidents of the past or anyone who's supposedly passed away or a great mind of the past or anything like that. It is all in his imagination. But if you go with it knowing that it's in your imagination, and then you try doing some of the things to get in touch with your other self, it's essentially it actually introduces you to a guiding figure in your life. Your subconscious kind of giving you clues as to which direction you should go down. And it's just absolutely fascinating. And I found that quite recently. Before the birth of my child, I went down quite a rabbit hole with all that stuff, and I got really motivated and I got really into a good routine, and I was working so much, but I burnt out because I'm still going on that. I'm still picking up some steam on that project again, which is the heat shock project. I'm intentionally doing very small tasks, but tasks that lead you closer to where you want to be, to try and reinvigorate that momentum, because it is all about momentum. It's not about motivation. Motivation wanes and momentum carries you through until you take on too much and then you can get overworked. But yeah, that led me down the inner self speaking, led me down the path of one that got me really excited, because when you speak to that aspect of your consciousness, you get things that you really want to do, and it's not coming from anyone else. Like, it's coming from yourself. And if you, I don't know about you, but if you follow what someone else wants you to do, unless it just happens to be coincidentally the absolute right thing, you're probably not going to get massive fulfillment out of it. But if you do something that you want to do, as simple as it sounds, and then you start getting good at it, then you're going to get heaps and heaps and heaps of fulfillment out of it. And that keeps you going to then be successful. But yeah, just being out on a walk on yourself, with no stimulation, just talking, getting things out. It's really good for your brain as well, and planning ahead. And when you talk, it like stimulates. I think it stimulates your subconscious, and if you've got a cold muscle, and then you try and run, you're going to injure it. But if you warm that muscle up, you get more out of it, and you can go a bit further. And then when you're talking things through, you stimulate those ideas from the subconscious to like bubble up. Like, let's say it's like a jacuzzi, and you turn the bubbles on when you go for a walk, and then all the ideas come up in bubbles, and it can just lead you into things that you didn't even think that you had inside of you. And if you're looking for inspiration of what to do, just go for a walk. But clear your mind. Like, if you're angry, go for a walk anyway, because that can calm you down. Same if you're in any type of negative mental space. But if you're in that space, don't try and ask for inspiration about what to do next until you've calmed down. Like, just keep on. Like, if you've got a date, like if you're in a big rut, and if you've got a day to spare, like on a Sunday, and let's say you've got paralysis by analysis, you want to do something but you don't know what to do, just spend a Sunday, tell your missus you're off out for a walk or a hike or something, or if you're on your own, just go, and then literally just don't stop walking until you've managed to calm your mental space down. Like, just go through things, and if you're regretting something, just try and forgive yourself. Ask yourself for like forgiveness, or ask God for forgiveness. That's what I do, and it really helps. Or if someone's bugged you off, just try and talk it through your head. If you need to just be cussing at the world for just to get all the energy out, so you've spent it all, just go and do it until you've come down. Like, just go out in nature and just do it until you've come down, because you will eventually come down. You could come down in 20 minutes, you could come down in 4 hours or 3 hours. Just go do it and come down. And once you've come down, don't force yourself, just give it a bit, and then start thinking, right, what do I want to do then? What is it? Is there anything there? And then just start pursuing ideas. But like, you don't have to stick with the first one. There'll be one that shows up in your mind as just an idea, and it'll just hit you, whether it's instantly, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, that has sparked my interest. No matter how stupid it is, no matter how embarrassed you are to tell your dad or your friends or anyone around you don't have to tell anyone that you're working on it. You don't have to tell anyone what you're doing. In fact, it's probably best to not tell them at the start to reduce pressure of performance. Unless you're super ambitious and you're a different personality type where you feel like you want to tell someone to kind of like hold you to it maybe. But I find it easy just not telling anyone, and therefore I don't have to worry about anyone's approval if you don't tell them, and then just pursue it step by step, small task by small task, and do things that you find fun. Like if you want to do something that is quite ambitious and it's going to take some laborious work in the future, just do one task at the start on day one with something really fun that's easy, and then just do that for a week, and then eventually you'll get the momentum to set in, and then it brings belief and motivation, and you'll start subconsciously just looking into it a little bit more and growing and learning about how to do it better. And then eventually, if you stick with it long enough, it'll turn into a planet. Okay, what I mean by that is, if you imagine the universe at the start, and there were no planets, there were just small rocks, and then the biggest of the small rocks would have more gravity than the other small rocks. If you believe in gravity, that is, but that's a whole fucking other ball game. I do believe in gravity, actually, but I know there's a whole community of people who believe in the electric universe who don't necessarily believe in gravity and believe in density and all that kind of stuff. But for this, it's such a nice night, by the way. It's so amazing. You can see essentially all the planets tonight. Jupiter's up there, and Mars is there, and there's Arcturus over there. But yeah, the biggest of the small rocks is going to have more gravity, and it's going to pull in another small rock, and then it's going to be an even bigger rock, and it's going to pull in another small rock, and it's going to be It's going to be an even bigger rock, and then eventually you've got a comet, and you've got a comet that's moving, and it's smashing into more rocks, and then eventually you've got a small planet, and then eventually you've got a big planet. And once you've got a big planet, you're essentially established, and then you'll find something to orbit around that's going to keep you stable. Okay, something that you should look into, even though I'm a Christian, the wisdom of Hermeticism is insane. Just go read the Kabbalion. But there's certain, the as above, so below principle. I think it's a bit of an original thought in terms of planets being your own momentum and how to build momentum in your life. But the as above, so below principle essentially says what happens on one plane will also happen on the other plane. So, for example, the physical plane represents the emotional and the spiritual, or whatever you want. Like, to grow in the emotional world is the same as growing in the physical world. Let's say literally growing. If you want to grow some muscle or get stronger, you've got to go against resistance. Okay, and it's the same in the emotional world. To get emotionally stronger, you've got to go through resistance. To get stronger in your passion, you've got to go through resistance. Like that boredom is resistance. Once you go through it, which you will inevitably, you'll get stronger. But what if you back engineer it from the start? How does it start? It starts from a little task and just builds from there, just by adding rock by rock by rock until you get a planet. And I hope that bit of wisdom helps anyone who needs it. I pray that it finds the right person. Even if it's just one soul, I pray that it finds the right person and it manages to spur something out of them. And I think on that note, I'm going to end it for today and upload this with maybe a thumbnail. Alright, I'll catch you later.